Today we are reviewing the Canon 250D. To show you what this camera can do, I will show you what I've created with this camera. I've created this video with the Canon 250D for an amazing car upholstery company called Benelum in Dubai. In order for me to create a visual compelling story, we combined stock footage with the Canon footage. Look at what we got.
The sky is never complete without stars. The Benelum adornment is completion of beauty and harmonizes your opulent car atmosphere. The ingenuity of the design accentuates the interior of your car to spark more amusement and inspiration within you on the driveway.
Super impressive image quality, very good resolution, beautiful colors. For each price and what you get, in my opinion, this is worth it. And a disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by Canon. I have shot with this camera for over 2 years and it feels like working with a mirrorless camera. This camera comes with an 18 to 55mm lens. Of course, you can always swap. It uses an SD card, and for those of you who are into video, the flip LCD screen will amaze you. The very angle touchscreen makes it super easy to shoot from unusual angles. Then the dual CMOS AF system quickly and accurately focuses while shooting in live mode. This Canon 250D does both photography and video. The most amazing thing about this camera is that it has super amazing focus system. When you come here and then you press this button here of the autofocus, now it has this particular one, the facial tracking focus mode. This one now just tracks the face. Oh, it's a bit overexposed, but you see how it is tracking my face. You know, now this is the most amazing feature it has. That is why I say the Canon 250D is built for vloggers, hobbyists, and photographers who want technically competent imagery, but on a budget. The Canon goes for about $680 currently. If we are to go down into the features of this camera, you'll be super amazed. It is a 24 megapixel camera and it produces high resolution, crisp images that I do really love. I have done portraits with this particular camera and also done automotive images with this same camera. I have to say, for its price, I was super amazed, and I'm still super amazed by the outlook of the images I'm getting out of this camera. No matter what your skill level or experience, this camera is super easy to use. It makes it also easy to share images via your smartphone using Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. All you have to do is download the Canon camera remote app and boom, you're good to go. When it comes to battery life, I'll compare it with its mirrorless counterpart, that is the Canon M50. The Canon 250D has 3 times longer battery life than the Canon M50, and that's not the only advantage it has over the Canon M50. The other advantage it has over the Canon M50 is that with the Canon 250D you have a wider choice, a wider array of lenses that you can use on this particular camera, unlike the M50 that is limited to a particular kind of lens. Then if you're into video, that gives you the ability to shoot both 4K, that is at 25 frames per second, and Full HD at both 25 frames per second and 60 frames per second.
It is all about the positive vibes it gives you.
So how do I set it up for video? We are going to first put it in video format right here. Most of the times I look at the frame rate for video. If you want to get a cinematic kind of feel, I usually shoot it at 25 or 25 frames per second, because this is actually closer to the 24 frames per second that the cinematic standard usually goes for. So the closest I have here in this particular camera is 25 frames per second, and that is how I set it. The other thing this camera has, it also has 4K. However, in 4K, the camera cannot give you the 60 or 50 frames per second. An indication if you want to do any super slow motion, you will have to downgrade. Truth be told, for the price and what this camera offers, I mean, it is super awesome. It is very, very hard to find a camera that has all these features at this price. And these are the camera settings I use when I'm doing photography. First of all, the camera is in manual mode right now. Most of the times my starting point when I'm setting it up for shutter speeds is usually 125, because there I'm safe that I won't have any form of camera shake within my whole image. Then the next thing I do definitely is ISO. I just press the ISO button just up right here. Okay, sorry, it shut down. Just up right here. And if I'm using any form of artificial lighting, definitely I put the ISO in 100, and that is how I set up my camera for portraits. Now when it comes to dynamic range, since I work with a lot of dark skin, I have to do this particular camera setting so that I have a full tonal range of the browns, because people from African descent have different shades of brown. So usually what I do, I set up that in what they call the picture style. So I come back here into the menu, just right here, and then I come into here, picture style. So I come into picture style here. I don't shoot in two portrait profiles. Reason being, I love my pictures a bit vibrant, and the only picture style that gives me those vibrant, punchy kind of images is usually the landscape format. So I come into the landscape format picture style right here, like that, and then I press the info button, and right here I just come and only work onto the contrast knob just to expand its dynamic mode. For example, if it is a bride and they are putting on a white gown or something, and they are dark skinned, when you get the details of the gown, you end up getting the skin tones of the person really coming out overly dark, and you won't have the actual tonal range of the browns, of the melanin browns. So usually what I do to expand the dynamic range of such simple cameras, I come into the picture style right here, and then right here, and then I just press the info button here, and I get onto the contrast knob. By default, the contrast is usually in the center. So what I do here, I just come, I get the contrast and I just crush it out. I remove it and put it all in the negatives. You know, that is how I set up this camera for pictures. So the rest is aperture, shutter speed. I know if you're a photographer. Then saturation, this is now a personal preference. I usually love my pictures a bit saturated, but this is now a question of taste. If you don't want your picture saturated, you can always keep it in the middle. Even if you choose to use a portrait picture style, if you're shooting dark skin, if you're shooting people of dark skin, I recommend crushing the contrast, because the dynamic ranges of these cameras are not very good at capturing the different shades of brown. Even if you're shooting furniture of different color tones, a dark brown furniture table wouldn't come out very nice, if it is next to a light brown furniture table. So it's always better, in order for you to get that tonal range, it's always better you crush down the contrast so that you get those things well aligned. You may be saying at this point that, hey Oscar, we can fix this in Photoshop. Truthfully, you can fix it in Photoshop, but I prefer having it here on camera, where I have that whole tonal range done on camera, because there are certain incidences where I have to use JPEGs as JPEGs, where I need to post the picture there and then without me going through the post-production process. I would recommend this camera for a hobbyist who is also on budget but wants to create those high-end beautiful images, a vlogger or videographer who wants to create crisp videos without breaking the bank. It could also be the mini backup camera for you. I am really super amazed by the quality of the images this camera gives you. That's my review on the Canon 250D. Thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this video, of course, give this video a like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This is my first ever review video I've done, and I've done it for a beginner camera. I love you and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and adios.